Welcome to Lesson 16 of Hands-On Equations. In today's lesson, you can still use your kit, but we're actually going to work on writing out the steps to solve an algebraic equation. So in our very first equation, we have 2x equals star, or the opposite of x, plus 6. So in this case, we do not have any legal moves that we're able to do to simplify the problem. So what we need to do is we need to add a 0. So we're going to add a 0 to this side. So this is kind of like step 1. You want to, you can even circle it to show that you've added a 0. Okay. Now we're able to complete a legal move. So we're going to remove a star from both sides of the equation. And so in step 2, after we remove that star, we're going to be left with 3x's is going to equal 6. And so now we can actually solve it. So step 3 would be to solve. So x would equal 2. If x equals 2, we know that star equals -2. And now our final step would be go back and complete our check. Okay, so with our check, we would have 2 times 2, or 2 plus 2, equals -2 plus 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And -2 plus 6 would be 4, and 4 equals 4. All right, let's try another one. Here's our next equation here. All right, so we're going to write it first. So we're going to have 2x plus the opposite of x, or star, plus 3 equals 2 star plus 15. Okay. So let's go ahead and think about what we can do first. So the first thing we can do is we can remove a star from both sides of the equation. So and you always want to simplify. So after we remove a star, we're going to be left with 2x plus 3 is going to equal star plus 15. Okay. Now, in our third step, we're going to perform another legal move by removing the value of 3 from both sides of the equation. Okay. So in step 4, we're going to end up getting all right, so in step 4, after we simplify, we are going to need to solve. And in order to do that, we're going to need to add a 0. So again, we're trying to get the 12 to stand alone. So we're going to add a 0. To the left side of the equation, and when we do that, we're gonna, now we can subtract, okay, I made the opposite of x. So we're gonna subtract a star, and we're gonna be left with 3 x's on this side is going to equal 12, and so x is going to equal 4. If x equals 4, then we know that the opposite of x is going to equal -4. Okay. Let's go back up and perform our check. So we'll have 2 times 4 plus -4 plus 3. So we will have 2 times 4 is 8, plus a -4 would be 4, plus 3 would be 7. And on the other side, we're going to have 2 times -4 plus 15. So 2 times -4 plus -4 would be 8, and negative 8 plus 15 would also be 7. So our check would be 7 equals 7. All right, and let's do one more, and then you'll be ready to try some on your own. So the last one we're going to do is going to use subtraction. So we have x minus 3 star plus 2 equals 8 minus 2x. So for this problem, we can't set it up. Imagine if we were trying to set this up and we put a blue pawn and then we try to take 3 white pawns. We can't do that because we don't have 3 white pawns. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add zeros so that we're able to simplify this equation. So we have our x, and then we're going to add our zeros. I like to put parentheses around them so I can kind of see that they go together. Plus 2. And on the other side, I'll have 8. I cannot subtract 2 x's, so I'm going to need to add our convenient zeros again. All right, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to subtract 3 stars. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to subtract 2 x's over here. So for this one, once we simplify and perform those legal moves, we're going to be left with 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. So 4x plus 2 on the left-hand side, and over here we're going to be left with 8 plus 2 star. All right, so now we're ready to perform step 1. So let's go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. So we'll be left with 4x equals 6 plus 2 star. All right, we're trying to get the value of 6 to stand alone. So our second step is we are going to have to add 2 convenient zeros to the left side. So we already have 4x, and then we're going to add a convenient 0, and then another convenient 0, and then that's going to equal 6 plus 2 star. Now we can subtract 2 stars from both sides. So we'll be left with 6, 4, 5, 6x equals 6. And so that tells us that x will equal 1. So if x equals 1, then star is going to equal negative 1. Okay, so now let's go back, and I'm actually going to do the check in a different color here. So we are going to have 1 minus 3 times negative 1 plus 2 equals 8 minus 2 times 1. Okay, so we have 1 minus negative 3 plus 2. So 1 minus negative 3 is going to be like adding a positive, so it will be like 1 plus 3, which would be 4, plus 2 more would be 6. And over here, 2 times 1 would be 2, so 8 minus 2 would be 6, and so our check would be 6 equals 6. Okay, mathematicians, it is your turn. So I want you to try to write out the steps. If you get stuck, then use your kit, and each time you complete a move on your hands-on equation kit, then actually just document what you did. If you remove something, subtract it. If you added something, use parentheses, or you can also circle it if you would like. Circle those convenient zeros and see if you can solve them. The other thing you can do is you can solve them with your kit first so that you know what the answers are, and then you can go back and see if you can write it out to see if you get the same answers. All right, mathematicians, lesson 16 is tricky, but you can do it. Good luck, mathematicians.